Welcome everybody to another round of World of Tanks subscriber replays. My name as always is Maxwell, and today's first video is from the user Pav or Pav, and he's driving the E50 Alfs M on a standard battle on the live Orc. So today's subscriber replay video has got a couple of the high tier German tanks for you, this one obviously being the tier 10, so I thought you'd enjoy these two. Top-tiered German mediums are pretty damn good tanks. They've got great speed maneuverability, but they're also pretty massive, weigh a decent chunk, and can be used as fantastic battering rams, not to mention the guns on them, nicely accurate, decent reload speed, good penetration, and damage all around. So, Pav going to be heading all the way over to the right-hand side and heading to the southern portion of the map. You normally get a couple of tank destroyers here. You're going to see who we can spot out. He's been found by somebody already. Not really sure who, because he doesn't get any spots back in return. So just going to relocate to a different part of the hill and maybe peek his head over. Just waiting for his allies to turn up here. They've got the AMX 1375. As you can see by the speed he's got, he's clearly going to be suicide scouting. So it looks like he was spotted out earlier by that AMX 12T, probably. 1375 continues on undaunted. Gets spotted out again. I'm going to have to relocate to another part of the hill, as it looks like it's actually only the 12T in this location who is now moving through and spotting everybody. Pretty surprised that he is still alive at the moment with the amount of tanks over there. Unfortunately, Pav's shot blocked by the Waffenträger there. Going to move forward to try and get a shot on this M103. Not sure where he's gone now, but going to fire blind at the position that he last saw him. Does take a hit from the Waffenträger now. Luckily for him, it only takes his track out, and the Waffenträger decides to fall back as he's taken a huge amount of damage just for getting the track damage onto Pav there. Not sure how to pronounce his name, so I think we're just going to go with Pav from now on. And we're waiting for that Waffenträger to poke out again, but I think he's probably going to play it quite cagey from this point on, considering the amount of damage that he has taken. So battle progressing quite slowly at the moment. The MX 1390 appears in the distance there, not quite able to get a hit on him. This Waffenträger fires another shot. Unfortunately, doesn't quite penetrate the very nice armor of the E50M there, and he takes a bit of damage in return. Should have really been focusing on the lower plate there, but probably didn't have a shot on that. Not quite got the angle to hit the M48 Patton there. And now we see a Ferdinand come into view. Gets a great hit on the Ferdinand along with everybody else. And this Ferdinand's going to be regretting his decision to move to this flank as he gets taken out in short order. So the Allied team got a decent chunk of tanks in this location, mostly tank destroyers, and then you've got the couple of mediums and the light tank there. And you can see that they do outnumber the enemy team greatly in the city. Unfortunately, the enemy team also has quite a lot of tank destroyers, and they're all almost certainly on that ridge line across the E line. Unfortunately, my minimap is still broken. Everybody who sends me a minimap file, it's just invariably also broken, so there doesn't appear to be anything I can do about my minimap, so I'm just going to have to wait until 9.1 comes out, unfortunately. Does take out the M48 Patton in the end there, after taking a good chunk of damage from everybody else. The Waffenträger still lurking around here. Oh, gets a lovely shot onto him. Look, unfortunately leaves him with 63 hit points. But that should be a nice signal for the AMX 1375 and that T34-3 are going to be able to move in and execute him. Pav sees that they are going in, so decides to go in himself. Going to move across the river here. Got to remember though that M103 is still in the center, so going to stay on this side of the train tracks for the time being. Don't want to take any shots in the side from the M103, especially when they are avoidable. Looks like this Waffenträger's just totally fell back now, fallen back towards his own base, as the 1375 and T43-3 are unable to spot any of them out. Does find an Object 704 way over on the other ridge there, defending. And it looks like the Allied team has nicely won that battle in the city. Unfortunately, they've now got to face the concentrated guns of the tank destroyers arrayed across that ridge, so they're going to have to take this one carefully. Pav gets spotted. Out there is the Waffenträger. He's fallen back to the water. Misses his shot though and gets taken out, and that's kill number 2 now. Still got to be careful though, because that M103 is in a very, very weird position. I'm not really sure what he's doing in the center there. At the moment, all he's doing is just making it difficult for the attackers to move up here. He's not even looking over this direction. Not really sure what he's doing. Maybe he decided just to drive there and go AFK. Pave going to try and get some blind shots on him. Not sure if any of these are landing, because nobody can get eyes on him. Just firing in the general direction that he thinks he's in. This AMX 1390 is approaching from the right-hand side as well, so got to be careful. Did land a couple of shots on the M103. Unfortunately, that one just bounced. It wouldn't have been enough to take him out, though. And the M103 deciding to try and get into cover. Just about in time as well. Going to see if the Object 704 can get a clear shot on him, but it looks like nobody is available to do that. Allied tanks getting whittled down in the city. And that's just because they can't really make a move across that open field against the guys that are camping on the ridge, as they'll just get themselves eliminated. Looks like T-62A came back to defend against this push. What the guys in the city are going to have to do basically is just kind of hang around, not really push, and wait for the guys in the south here to hopefully win this battle. And then once the battle in the south is won, they can apply some pressure to the ridgeline, and then the guys from the city are going to be able to move in. You can see the AMX 50B is already starting to make a move. Gets a lovely shot on the T-62A as he comes in. Unfortunately, he did take out the 1375, and this Object 704 is severely damaged. And the T-62A is set up. Luckily, Pave gets himself into a great side-scraping position here. Bounces a shot from the T-62A. Got to be aware, though, that the T-62A does have a better reload speed than the E-50M. But it looks like the T-62A doesn't want to just stand and trade, especially because he's a German tank and he is in a side-scraping position, which means he's going to be pretty much indestructible. Object 704 gets himself spotted, unfortunately not able to get any damage on him. The AMX-50B has managed to sneak all the way around from the city, which was an excellent job on his part. See the T-62A making a run for it, so Pave decides to shoot him rather than the Object 704, just because if that T-62A was able to flank, the AMX-50B would have been in trouble. Unfortunately, the AMX-50B gets himself taken out by the Object 704. Pave able to get a lovely shot on him. Not sure. Nope, he's going to drop back behind the ridgeline. Doesn't want to take any more of that damage. And using this opportunity, the IS-7 is going to push forward as well. Unfortunately, there is still that FV215B183. And almost certainly the artillery in that location as well. AMX 1390 comes in bravely to try and take on Pave, although he is now going to be spotted, so the enemy team knows exactly where he is and what position he's going to be in. You can see the T-62A uses that opportunity to also come in and attack. Luckily for Pave, he misses his shot, doesn't miss the second one, but that is the first bit of damage that he's taken all game now. And he's got to be careful, because it sounds like this T-62A is firing gold rounds, reloading very quickly there as well. One of those may have been from somebody else, as that did seem like a little bit too quick in the old firing. Paying most of his attention to the T-62A now, which is the smart thing to do, as he is the higher risk at the moment, keeping his gun angled between the AMX 1390 and the T-62A. Now he can get behind the cover from the T-62A, and he's able to take out the AMX 1390, and the Allied artillery comes in, and he's amazingly able to take out the AMX 1390 without killing Pave there. I probably wouldn't have taken that shot as the artillery, because there was a huge risk he could have taken out his Allied tank there, and Pave's only left with 216 hit points now. And he's up against this T-62A, and there was still this Object 704 somewhere in the area. There he is there. Doesn't have the gun depression to get a shot on target, so he's just going to have to fall back, try and reposition, try and get his gun to move down a little bit. Has his shot and misses there. And I think the Object 704 missed as well, and Pave's going to have more than the reload speed on the Object 704, and the 704 knows it, so he's just dropped back. T-62A tries to flank around from the left-hand side. Unfortunately, he gets spotted out underneath the train cars and gets eliminated now. And now he's going to spin back around, try and get another shot on this Object 704. Object 704 has been spotted for days now, and I was just about to say, I don't know why the artillery hasn't landed, and landed it does. And that is A nice bit of teamwork there, although Pave's only got 216 hit points left against an FV-183 in that artillery piece. Not really sure where the FV is. Last spotted on the ridgeline, the artillery was last spotted down in the ditch. Pave going to be having a look around just in case. Can't spot anybody else out here, and we're just going to speed this one up a little bit till we get back into the action. Just checking all of the different angles there, just having a look around, make sure nobody is present in this location. Does get spotted out as he comes in, finds the artillery, there he is, lurking in the ditch there. Did spot out the FV, making a move towards his base, so he's done the smart thing here of just putting himself in the cap circle, and hopefully he's built up enough capture points. Indeed he has. Built up 9 or 10 capture points before that FV moved in, so all he has to do now is survive against the artillery, don't take a hit, and this one is in the bag. And in fact, even if he does take a hit and resets, then he may be... Oh, very nearly went out the cap circle there. Living dangerously, moving all the way back here just in case. Even if he does get reset and not killed, he's probably going to have time to be able to make it to his cap circle and take out the FV. But just waiting, here we go. The artillery's obviously poked his head over the top, as he did get spotted out there. Not really sure where he is. Somebody fired there. I think the artillery somehow planted that one in the dirt. Not really sure, as that one was way, way off target. Pave's just having a scan around, see if he can find him anywhere. All the artillery needs to do is just get out here and get one bit of damage onto him. Just a splash hit would be enough. To be honest, if I was the FV, I'd be blind firing on the cap circle right about now, just in case. See, Pave constantly moving around, does find out the artillery, sees just about the top of him, which is enough, and he takes him out. And that is GG and the victory. There's going to be nothing this FV can do. As you can see, he's a good few seconds behind. So this one's just going to wind down. And as you can see, base captured by allies, enemy team still ticking down, but it's nowhere near close enough to be a draw, and Pave picks up the victory for his team. So absolutely awesome replay there from you. Thank you very much for sending that one in, scoring 4 kills and a huge 5,500 points of damage. So don't forget to stick around, guys, because as always, the score screens and another game are coming right up. And our second replay of the day is from the user Kier. That's Kier, and he's driving the E50 on a standard battle on the steppes. I have no idea why you guys make names that are so difficult for me to pronounce, but there you go, Kier, everybody. Right, so this replay going to be heading over to the right-hand flank, to the area where normally you would have the cap circle, this being an encounter, but it not being an encounter, it's normally where you go just to pick off early damage onto people. As you can see, a lot of enemy tanks also moving in this position over onto that flank here, setting up to try and get a shot on someone as they come through. Does see the Lux here. Unfortunately, he's just a little bit behind the terrain. There was an IS-6 in the background somewhere, so you can see he's just keeping his gun trained in this location in case he gets spotted out again. T-34-1 making the smart choice of just backing off there when he sees people taking damage. Not quite able to find anything on that T-43, I believe that is. Might be able to get a shot on him this time. Nope, misses that one as well. So not having a great time at these long ranges of being able to get many hits onto people. Don't worry, it's a little bit of a slow start of this one, but it does pick up as we get into it. So just keeping in this position here, seeing if we can spot anybody out. Everybody else is just kind of charging into that meat grinder on the left-hand side there and getting chewed up and spat back out again. Kier takes a hit in the side. Very surprising that that one penetrated so easily, considering the angle that he was at. Just let down a little bit by the terrain there. Tried to get a shot on that Type 59, but got raised up a little bit as he was about to take his shot. Does take another hit in the front there. And again, that one penetrates, although the E50 is pretty nicely armoured. Might not be the thickest armour in the world, but the angle of that slope means that you are capable of bouncing quite nicely. Did see that someone was wanting to make a push on this left-hand side. The enemy team got way more tanks on this right-hand flank than the Allies have. Finally gets some damage on this T-34-1 here, and he's got a Rheinmetall in the background here, so anybody who pushes past him is going to face the full wrath of that Rheinmetall. Gets another good hit on this T-34-1. He's in a fantastic angle at the moment. That Rheinmetall behind him pushed out way too far, and he's already fallen. But as you can see, Kira at a fantastic angle here just to bounce shots. Does find that IS-6 from the beginning of the match. Unfortunately, the IS-6 is made out of sterner stuff, and he's not able to get a shot through that armour. T-34-1 has been taken out, actually. I was going to say that he has relocated, but he's relocated back to the garage by the looks of it. So still got this T-43 and the AMX 1390 moving around inside the little pocket there. T-43 looks like he's pushed way over the top, and he's been taken out now. And this one looking a lot more even than it did at the beginning. Looks like the enemy team has a lot more tanks camping than the Allied team does. Actually, the Allied team doesn't really have any tank destroyers in the back there, whilst the enemy team does. And that just means that the enemy team is getting pushed heavily on both flanks. All the way on that left-hand side, they're doing their best to put up a determined defense. That Löwe and that M103, and they're not going to be able to turn those guys aside. Although not having any camping tank destroyers means that this T-69 was able to get in there and take out the artillery. Gets a lovely hit on that AMX 5100 there. And he just decides that discretion is the better part of valor and falls back a little bit. Type 59 still moving around in the background there. Hasn't taken any damage as of yet. You see the Allied platoon mate in the AMX 1390 has now gone off to try and track down this T-69. That is Ice Cream Tank. So that Type 69 almost certainly fallen back whilst he's reloading, and that 1390 hopefully going to have the damage. This 1390 just decides to go full ham though and try and get around behind that T-34. Just don't think he realised how many tanks were in this location. T-34 does fall now, taken out by the concentrated fire of the enemy team. And you see this AMX 5100 still threatening to push. But he's got to be careful because he doesn't have very much armor himself. Got to rely on his allies to back him up if he does decide to make that move. That T-69 is still alive over there. The A-44's actually takes him out in the end. So it took a medium and a light tank to go kill that T-69. But with him all dealt with, then these guys can head back to this flank. The enemy team's done a fantastic job of defending the left-hand flank there. That Löwe and that M103 looks like they have done their best to dissuade the attackers there. See, all they've got left over there is that Centurion and that AC-46, and the Object 704 is moving in now. So the guys on this right-hand flank are going to have to be even more careful. See this AMX 5100 still wanting to push. Type 59 still behind the rock, all nice and safe. So it looks like the Allied team does have the numbers advantage over here. And that A-44 and the AMX 1390 going to be heading over to that left-hand flank to try and lend a hand. Still got a T-28 prototype camping in the back there, so got to watch out for him as well. And they're going to try and overwhelm them, although the Lorraine has now taken out that Centurion. The artillery coming up big for the enemy team. AMX 5100 is out in the open now. He's making his move to try and get into cover. Kier should hopefully be able to get some damage on him. Gets one good hit and then drops back before the 5100 is even able to fire a shot. Got to be careful though, as this FCM 50T is in the background. Looks like he's traded places with that Type 59, who has now fallen all the way back. Probably going to go and try and help on that left-hand side, even though the left-hand side has fallen. Going to be able to get another good hit onto that AMX 5100 and take him out. Now just got to try and charge down this FCM 50T, who has a shot and misses. Kier's going to be moving up, doesn't quite have the accuracy to be able to get a hit onto him. Gets his track taken out by the Lorraine 155. And now it's going to be a case of just charging him down. The Centurion 7-1 going from the right-hand side and Kier coming in from the left-hand side. Centurion has to be careful as there are camping tank destroyers in the background, but they're able to do a quick 1-2, take him out, and almost even up the score here at 10 kills to 11. So it's 3 platoon mates and 1 T-69 left. And they're going to try and close down on these camping tank destroyers. Got to be careful though, as the artillery and this Type 59 are both still alive. And I think Kier's just going to take the long route around, stay safe, stay behind the terrain, and see if he can find this artillery. Artillery almost certainly not going to be on this flank though, as this was the only flank that was getting pushed heavily. So probably going to be more in the centre of the map is where I think he was probably going to be hiding, as that would be the safest location. But then again, the artillery never does take the safe or the sensible choice. So it's going to be interesting to see where he is. Allied T-69 going all the way back to the base. I'm not 100% sure what he's doing now. Maybe he's going to be heading all the way around, and maybe he thinks that the Type 59 is going to be heading around. There we go, the Lorraine 155. Like I said, artillery never making the smart choice. He gets spotted and taken out, and that's Kier's kill number 3. And there we go, T-69 actually coming up big for his team. Dropped all the way back in an effort to try and counter that Type 59, and that is indeed what he has done. But his cannon is going to be fully reloaded now, so this Type 59 is probably not going to have the best of that exchange. Kier finds this M103 in the background. Don't think he's been spotted out here, as the M103 hasn't fired a shot. This Object 704 is also heading over to this area. He spins around to try and get a shot on the Centurion 7-1 there, and he takes a shot in the side from Kier. This is quite a distance. I don't think that Object 704 can see him here, as he hasn't fired a return shot yet, and the Centurion 7-1 takes him out. That Type 59 still dueling with the T-69. Going to be interesting to see who comes out on top on that one, but you can see Ice Cream Tank in the AMX 1390 has gone back to offer some support. Hopefully the two of them, two auto-loaders, that T-69, that AMX 1390, should both be able to work down that Type 59 and take him out, whilst the Centurion 7-1 and this E50 work on the T-28 prototype and this M103. Just going to speed this one up a little bit till we get back into some actual action. You can see Kier doing the smart thing of flanking around behind these guys. The Centurion 7-1 holding their attention while Kier gets all the way around the side. Just a little bit worried there that he was going to take a little bit too long, and the M103 was going to be out of range of fire before he was able to get in position. He did manage to get one shot on that M103, but it would have been nice to be a little bit quicker. This T-28 prototype still looking in this direction, so just going to head forwards and put a rock between himself and that T-28 prototype. Little bit of reticule lag you can see here. Not really sure what's going on with this one. Hopefully it will fix itself any moment now. The AMX 1390 takes out the T-28. And now it's going to be a case of Kier's just going to hold the attention of this M103. Somebody going to come around. Does take one hit from him. He's got plenty of hit points. He can probably take another shot from him without dying. But this M103 is doing the smart thing of dropping back behind the cover. And Kier just doesn't want to risk this one. He's just going to hold the attention of the M103, and he's going to let his platoon mate in the AMX 1390 come around and take him out through the side or the rear armor. Looks like the M103 is still focused on this location, and he's not going to see the approaching AMX 1390, who is his doom, and that is GG and the victory. So absolutely awesome replay there from Kier. Only picking himself up 3 kills, but being instrumental, him and his platoon, and picking up almost 4,500 points of damage. So absolutely awesome replay from you. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Don't forget, guys, if you've got yourself a good replay, then please send that in to replay@screenreality.com. Link for that is in the description. All you need to do is attach the replay file or send me the link to the What Replay website in the email, and I'll be able to take a look at that one for you. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, entertaining, you liked it, or you learned something, then definitely consider hitting that subscribe button, because there's a lot more World of Tanks content on the channel. I have been Maxwell, this has been World of Tanks, and I will catch you guys next time.